when we begin to think that this life is just one chapter, this life is just one identity that I've assumed, but we are something much broader, then this begins to change everything. And therefore Arjuna is questioning his meaning. And Krishna says the first thing you have to understand is that you're a spiritual being. And if you understand that it's all just a flash in eternity.
Okay, everyone getting into the swing. His first few chapters are always getting into the movement. So these first few chapters are very, very powerful. Arjuna is having his dilemma, and Krishna is giving his answers. And Krishna is revealing many, many beautiful things to Arjuna. Arjuna has become a shishya, his disciple, and therefore he has become jigyasa. Are you jigyasa? Are you inquisitive? Are you really questioning? Not just in the head, you have to question in the heart. You have to think of the most difficult time in your life and the questions that were coming at that time. That's when you can hear the Gita. So Arjuna has become jigyasa. He's questioning, what is my meaning? Remember, if you don't have meaning, you can't get through life. And therefore we need meaning. And so now Arjuna is going to be given meaning by Krishna. Arjuna is becoming a philosopher. Everyone has to become a philosopher. The question is, how do you become a philosopher? Socrates, who was a great philosopher, said it's very simple. If you want to become a philosopher, just get married. You have to ask questions. Philosophy means love of the truth. So therefore, Arjuna is now seeking the truth. And there's one way to become a philosopher. And that one way I can share with you how to become a philosopher is very simple. You want to know? Go home and start looking at your family albums. Sorry, this is the wrong one. It's probably more like this. I invite you today, when you go after Gita Jayanti, go back home and look in your family albums. Go back in time. Go back to who you were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago. And I guarantee you, when you look at your old pictures, you will begin thinking about life. Who was I? Where was I? What experiences brought me to where I am now? Where was God's hand along that whole journey? Immediately you will become very reflective. Sometimes I escape the temple and go back to Wembley. And in Wembley, I go to the park where I played as a kid. I go back to the place where my bike got stolen. I go back to the place where I experienced so many things, and immediately you become very reflective. And therefore, if you want to become a philosopher, you have to go back. So Krishna is now going to take Arjuna back. But he's not just going to take Arjuna back 10 years, 20 years, 40 years. Krishna is going to tell Arjuna there's a longer history than that. This life is just one chapter. And you have lived many lives before. Know, Arjuna, that this chapter is just a flash in eternity. And therefore, Krishna will tell Arjuna, Ni me vyatitani Janmani tava charjuna Tanyaham meda sarvani Natvam metha parantapa. Krishna will tell Arjuna, we've both, me and you, Bahu Janma, we've had many lives. I remember them, but you don't. Now I'm reminding you, Arjuna, that you have lived before. All of you have heard this. But how many of us have understood this? Because the moment you understand this, it changes everything. Krishna is saying you lived before. World philosophers and teachers are saying you lived before. Religions across the globe are telling you you lived before. And you know, even science is now telling you you lived before.
I expect that reincarnation is true. After you leave your body on this existence, then you go into some other realm. And after some length of time has elapsed on this earth plane, for some reason you choose to go back. There is a conscious process in selecting the life that you're going to lead. And that you consider different alternatives, and then that you choose someone that I gather that you learn something from.
Reincarnation is a concept that stretches deep into our history and is the central tenet for many pagan and Indian religions, including Buddhism and Hinduism. Billions of people around the world still believe in the idea of rebirth. But is there any scientific evidence to support such claims?
So what they've done is to collect thousands of case studies that support the idea that these kind of past life experiences are vividly remembered and are even correlated with some kind of physical birthmark.
If reincarnation is real, then what might its purpose be? Why do souls repeatedly incarnate?
The soul is required to evolve. It's almost like as a soul, we're required to come into the body and we're required to learn. And learning isn't easy.
The implications of reincarnation are no less than profound and could answer some of the big questions humans have been asking since the dawn of time. Who are we and why are we here?
James was born April 10th, 1998. That happened to be a Good Friday. He didn't have any health issues. He wasn't a big crier. He wasn't fussy. He was happy. But it was different when he started having the nightmares. It was about 2 weeks after his second birthday. Cooked dinner, gave him his bath, took him to bed, and that was that until about 3 in the morning, and then I just heard screaming. This was blood-curdling screaming, like someone was killing him. He was saying, "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out." And that's what he was repeating over and over. "Airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out."
I had to respond. So I started to ask him some questions. What happened to your plane? It got shot. Well, who shot your plane? The Japanese. Well, how do you know it was the Japanese? And I think he said that night, the big red sun. Where could that come from? How could he articulate something that specific? So I kept going. I said, well, where did your plane come from? And he said, a boat. Did your boat have a name? And he said, yes, Natoma. Here was this history of USS Natoma Bay, CBE 62. This ship supported the Battle of Iwo Jima.
It was, what can you say?
It was a complete mystery. Where could he have gotten that information? How could he say something like that? I had a hard time believing it.
The next day I talked to my mom. I told her that, this is what's going on with James. These are some of the things that he's saying. And my mom said something that made me stop dead in my tracks. My mom said maybe he's experiencing a past life.
So this is a very, very famous story. A very, very famous account, one of thousands of accounts of children who remember their previous lives. At the age of 2, this boy, James Leininger, begins remembering being a fighter pilot in the Second World War. He remembers the name of the army base, the name of the plane. He remembers the name of his fellow colleagues. Later on, as they investigate more, he even goes and recognizes people. How is it possible? When we begin to think that this life is just one chapter, this life is just one identity that I've assumed, but we are something much broader, then this begins to change everything. And this is the first knowledge that Krishna gives to Arjuna. And he's telling Arjuna, I want you to zoom out. The problem in life is that we get too close to things. We think life is like this, but actually, this is the reality. We think our problems are like this, but the moment you step away, you realize this is what your problems are. I failed my exams. You should pass your exams, by the way, but it's okay. There's a bigger story. That person did much better than me. It's okay. It's just a flash in eternity. But this is happening in my life. Relax. All things will pass. The moment you zoom out, the moment you understand the most simple point that Krishna makes in the Gita, you begin looking at life in a very, very different way. And therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna, Ma Sucha, why are you worrying? You're just here for some time. Do your duty, fight, dedicate it to me, fulfill your purpose as a soul, and then you'll move on. So therefore, this is a very deep teaching. And it's a deep teaching which is being recognized more and more in the world. In India, in the times of India, they reported one person who had a past life memory. And in his past life memory, he remembered who murdered him. This can only happen in India. So the Times of India reported, for the first time in history, someone is a witness in their own murder trial. This is going on. So, we're moving, folks. This body is going to keep changing. This is 16 years in 1 minute. It's all just a flash. Here today, gone tomorrow. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus says, you can't step into the same river twice because it's constantly flowing. And the Bhagavad Gita says you can't breathe from the same body twice because it's just changing. And Krishna says, Dhira statra namuyati. Relax. Ma sucha. Don't worry. Be sober. Here today, gone tomorrow. So, this teaching of the soul, dear friends, is so simple, you may just miss it. The first thing Krishna does is he establishes the existence of the soul. The second thing Krishna does in the Gita is he establishes the resilience of the soul. Krishna says the soul cannot be burned by fire. It can't be withered by the wind. It can't be broken. It's unbreakable, insoluble. Krishna says, Nahanyate, hanyamane sharire. This body may die. So many things may happen to this mind and body, but your soul remains intact. You are stronger than you think. And Krishna says, every soul has a purpose. Yes, your purpose as a mother. Yes, your purpose as a worker. Yes, your purpose as a friend or a son or a whatever it may be. But you have a deeper purpose as a soul. Remember that. And Krishna says, the soul has a brilliance. Krishna says, some look upon the soul as amazing. Some describe the soul as amazing. Some hear of the soul as amazing. And Krishna says, some, even after hearing of the soul as amazing, can't understand the soul at all. Understand this beautiful point. You are a spiritual being. When you wake up in the morning and you feel heavy, when you feel like there's so much burden on your shoulders, just remind yourself, I am a soul. Here today, gone tomorrow. And don't think, I have a soul. No, no, no. You don't have a soul. You are the soul. This is an important distinction, because if you think you have a soul, then spirituality is just part of your life. But when you realize, I am a soul, then what happens is materiality just becomes a part of your life. Yeah, I do my duties here, I do everything I have to do here, I'm on a bigger journey. When you think you have a soul, then what happens? All your roles in life become greater than your identity as a soul. But when you realize, I am a soul, then your identity becomes greater than all of your roles. Dear friends, don't just be religious. This is religious. Krishna is saying, be spiritual. Spiritual, but not religious. Therefore, Krishna will later on say, Sarva dharman parityaja. Give it all up. And remember, you are a soul. And therefore, Arjuna is questioning his meaning. And Krishna says, the first thing you have to understand is that you're a spiritual being. And if you understand that it's all just a flash in eternity, you will look at the life in an incredibly different way. And that is the gift that the Bhagavad Gita is offering us. Hare Krishna.